Now this is interesting. This actually came into light in the early 1900s. One of my heroes, so to speak, is a scientist by the name of Dr. Goldberger. He identified that there was this sickness that was ravishing across America at the time called pellagra. And they didn't understand what this sickness was. People's skin was becoming very porous, open sores. Eventually people with this, if it went untreated, would develop extreme schizophrenia, depression, mental health problems, and then eventually death. They didn't know what was causing this disease. This was a time where they were discovering a little bit about funguses. They thought maybe a fungus was going across America at the time. But this scientist, he took a different approach. He understood that the areas that were most impacted by this were largely individuals who started to consume more corn. This was during the time of the Great Depression, and corn was relatively cheap to produce at the time. And so what happened is corn started to take more and more of the dinner table's food at the expense of other fresh fruits and vegetables. And this disease that killed hundreds of thousands of people was simply nothing more than malnourishment of a single B vitamin. That's it. Just one vitamin. This was a huge wake-up call. This was the first time in the developed world's history that all of a sudden we did not equate famine with malnutrition. There was an abundance of food, but sadly, there was a shortage of nutrition. So, everyone put their heads together. How can we solve this dilemma? And so began fortification of our food. What does that mean? That sounds tough. That sounds great. Fortify, right? This is what you do when you're getting ready to be attacked. You fortify, or you enrich your food. And so what they did is they started to put in synthetic vitamins. They realized that they could make these vitamins similar in structure, not identical, but similar to the ones that are found in nature. But they would be made synthetically in a way that they wouldn't degrade. And they could make them cheap. And so they started to put it in. In fact, it became a federal law that if you were to sell bread and rice, that you would have to put in certain amounts of synthetic vitamins. And that started. And it grew and grew. And it did wonders. Do you know of anyone who has pellagra? No. Thank you. Thank you, right? You know anyone who has scurvy? No, right? That's great, because they were able to put those synthetic vitamins in. And it's done great things to help make us not have those ailments specific to those vitamins being deficient in our diet. Well, that's the way the world's been for about the last 100 years. Those natural vitamins that were in those fruits and vegetables to begin with are long gone and are replaced with the synthetic ones that are throughout our food chain. And as processed food takes more and more and more of our dinner plate each and every day, so do less and less of those naturally occurring vitamins. And at Isagenix, I do believe that we have the unique opportunity to not just avoid getting pellagra or scurvy, but we have the opportunity to live a true higher potential. Now we are at the point where the innovation is such that we know we are able to give vitamins that are sourced from whole foods and vegetables using a technology that allows them to be preserved in that state, no longer degradable. This, for the longest time, was thought to be impractical. But I can guarantee you right now, if you found out that all of the milk in your fridge didn't come from a cow, but came from a lab, there would be a huge social uprising. If you found out that you went to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and you had an enjoyable steak, and you found out it didn't come from a cow, but came from a test tube, I dare say most of us would ask for our money back. Right now, the vast majority of the vitamins that you are getting in the supermarket and in your food chain are synthetic, and people are simply unaware. The most important molecules to sustain life, those 21 essential vitamins and minerals that are designed to sustain our life, are synthetic in origin. Oh, and it's funny because even laws, if you have organic food, you think, hey, I'm exempt from this. It's organic. I paid 5 times as much for this crazy organic label. They wouldn't put synthetic vitamins in it. There's a little asterisk. You can still classify it organic with synthetic vitamins. And so now you have to ask yourself, how would you want your protein? From a cow or from a test tube? How would you want your vitamins? From plants or a test tube? And the power that yields in helping to elevate the experience is something miraculous. Now, I think we could all say we would much rather have our vitamins originate from fruits and vegetables than test tubes. But because synthetic vitamins are so cheap, because they're so stable, there hasn't been any innovation in that space for 100 years. Why? Literally, to give you about 100% of your daily allowance of folic acid, do you realize it costs about 1/10,000th of a penny? That's it. So don't mess if it's not broken. Just keep everyone the same. But that is the beauty of Isagenix, is we realize when there is an opportunity to raise the bar, our no compromise quality requires us to do it. And we've done it. Yay. Just as we led the way 20 years ago, it's funny, I came to Isagenix 5 years ago and everyone was talking about New Zealand grass-fed, we weigh, we use it. I was like, I have no idea where these cows in New Zealand are, but I'm glad that we understand the importance of that. We started that trend and now you see it everywhere. We started the trend of intermittent fasting well before it was cool. We started the trend of adaptogens. The only people who did adaptogens before were the ones that were walking in the forest hallucinating. We've done much better. We shook the earth with the biggest launch in Isagenix history of liquid collagen. And we revolutionized the aging gracefully space with the NAD product. And here we are again, getting ready to set that next global trend. It's important to go out with a little faux pas, right? All right. So is this a big deal? It is. People absolutely gravitate towards natural. They understand that. In fact, if you ask individuals what they would prefer and they put labels up of a synthetic vitamin with thousands of percent versus a natural vitamin originated from fruits and vegetables at a much lower dose, which one do you think they overwhelmingly prefer? The natural. If I told you I can give you a gallon of milk from a test tube or a quart of milk from a cow, which one would you rather have? This is why we are sitting on an absolute opportunity, and I'm going to walk you through that it is more than just this. You're going to see how all these companies have exposed themselves as we go through, and the market is ready for an evolution. So, with that, let's introduce PuraPlant 21. All right, with this, not all vitamins are created equal. You think vitamin A is vitamin A, vitamin B is vitamin B, so let it. It did seem a little opportune just to kind of do that. But let's talk a little bit about this. When we see a vitamin, it doesn't represent a single molecule. When you see vitamin A, it actually represents a family of molecules. And any one member of that family would count as vitamin A. Same with vitamin B1 and so forth. And what has been happening is when you make a synthetic one, is they make it just of one member of the family. And it's not an identical one. And so even though we may be getting all of our vitamin A, you're only getting one of 4 family members that make up that vitamin A family. And when well over 90% of the vitamins we've been consuming are synthetic, a lot of those family members have never been able to benefit our body. We just simply haven't been consuming them. But when you source those vitamins naturally, when they're found in nature, when you eat the carrot, so to speak, you're getting all of those different family members of that vitamin A. You're getting all of those different members of the vitamin B6 family when you're eating spinach. But if you were to take a typical multivitamin, you are left with just a shadow of what nature truly has to offer. Now, this is where it gets really good. The challenge is these natural vitamins are so fragile. In fact, if I was to take fresh squeezed orange juice, I'm sitting at a beautiful resort for all those that are going to Italy here in a little bit. Maybe sitting at a beautiful resort, you're going to be paying $83 for your fresh squeezed orange juice. Your feet up, and you're going to be saying, I'm going to be getting my beautiful vitamin C from this naturally sourced orange. Right? You're going to feel good about yourself. But that vitamin C is so fragile. Just over a few hours of it being juiced, it is about a fraction of what it once was. And so that's why, in many ways, even when you go buy orange juice in the supermarket, you'll know that it is added with synthetic vitamin C. But what we have been able to do is work with labs and partners in helping to identify a process that encapsulates at a micro level those vitamins in plant material. So you extract the vitamins out of those fruits and vegetables. You extract them at exceptionally high concentration. You then re-encapsulate them in that same plant material, ensuring that they are safe and protected. And over the years, we've been refining that process to make sure that they are stable and that they are maintained as they are being delivered to the consumer. And this technology gives us a wide variety of benefits. It's allowing the slow release of those nutrients. It's easier to digest, much higher bioactivity because you're getting all of those different family members. The list goes on and on. Now this is what is really crazy. A lot of times, we have been raised in the Kool-Aid world, right? We love the fact that when you add a quart of water to the red powder of Kool-Aid, it comes out the exact same red it's always been. We have been programmed to think if it's different, something's wrong. If you went to an orchard and picked an apple off of a tree and picked another apple off of that same tree, are they going to be the same? No. Nature is meant to be diverse. Right? If you go and you cook a steak and you come back 3 months later and cook another steak and it tastes the same, something should send a little bit of a red flag. Right? Now, in this, working with all of these fruits and vegetables, but beyond that, also giving you the essential fatty acids from a naturally occurring source, from sea algae, the omega-3s derived from sea algae, giving you a vegan-based, plant-based source for all of your essential vitamins and minerals, but beyond that, also essential fatty acids. And this is what's funny. Some of you will open it up and say, oh my goodness, it smells. It smells like fish. It smells like an algae. Guess where we got it from? As we move away from the synthetics in our lives, we should welcome the opportunity to allow nature to enrich it. If you ordered salmon and it came out smelling like plastic, send it back. If you are frying up a steak and it smells like nothing, send it back. If you are looking to get your vitamins and minerals from nature, it should smell and be like nature. And if there is ever a time that the world should be shaking in their boots, whenever somebody is popping in a multivitamin, and they're like, well, mine is in a perfect white capsule. You know what else comes in perfectly white capsules? Right? All of those chemicals that have been infiltrating our lives since the beginning have all been meticulously programmed to behave in a certain way, but it will never be able to mimic what nature has to offer. This is the big gotcha. Now, here's something interesting about labels. In this, you will notice on the right here is a typical multivitamin label. You'll see vitamin A, 83%. And then they have these beautiful things called parentheses. Right? And then it's got retinol acetate. Or let's go to vitamin D3, or vitamin E, and vitamin K. They have all these parentheses. You know why they have those parentheses? It's because really what that is saying is vitamin A. Well, it's not really vitamin A per se. It is a synthetic mimic of vitamin A that your body recognizes as the same, so we put it in parentheses. This is the equivalent of when you ask your teenage child if they cleaned their room. They say yes, parentheses, kind of. Right? And so what it is you will find this on all of the supplement facts that are out there. And some companies are good, they don't put it on the supplement facts, they'll bury it into the ingredient decks. Now, if you go look, for example, a bag of carrots at the supermarket, it will say vitamin A. No parentheses. Because it is the legitimate vitamin A. Here you will see on ours, we have not the parentheses. And so I'm super excited. I am super excited to leave this with you guys, to help you create the stories and leverage your influence to change the world, just as like we have done so many times in the past. Now, we've been working on this for years at Isagenix. There's something else we've been working on at Isagenix. Over the past 5-6 months, it is tough for me to say goodbye. And this is my bidding farewell. But just like everything that Isagenix touches, it's always an upgrade. It's time for my next adventure and to pursue other passions. But no matter what I pursue, the relationships that I've built here will last well beyond. So I thank each and every one of you. And it's not about me. It is more important about what's next. And so with that, as I mentioned before, everything at Isagenix is an upgrade. And there's an individual who has the opportunity to really continually elevate Isagenix. And it is important that we give him that megaphone. He's a person that has done studies after studies of the Isagenix products that have shown the power that our products aren't status quo. That they do, in fact, beat the competition. Yeah. Providing each and every one of you powerful ammunition to build your businesses or change your life. And so, he's been a colleague of mine for years, somebody who I've looked up to and have admired and have learned from. And so with that, please stand to your feet and welcome Dr. Paul Arciero, your new head.
I've been on stage a lot, and that's a powerful moment. Yeah, I'm obligated. I need to share some words on Josh, where he's brought Isagenix. And amazing. In 5 years, to transform the company the way that he has been not a crying shame, but a real powerful. It's been incredible, and so I'm deeply honored, totally grateful that I have this opportunity to carry on his unbelievable legacy. So thank you, God. That's tremendous. Wow, these lights are bright.